Kazakhstan established and developed relationships with more than 140 countries worldwide. The country is a member of over 60 international organizations. Kazakhstan is an open and friendly partner, the initiator of the various integration processes in the world community, always ready to create the conditions for global dialogue. Global Talk 23. Cooperation between Great Britain and Kazakhstan in the most ambitious project of the Republic is the Astana International Financial Center. You will learn about it in the next issue of Global Talk on Kazakh TV. In January 2018, the independent court of the International Financial Center Astana will start its work. It will be based on the principles of English law. Preparation for the organization of the activities of the court is now actively conducted by the administration of the AIFC in cooperation with the best experts from the United Kingdom. One of them is Lord Harry Kenneth Wolff, ex-Supreme Judge of Great Britain. He advises the Financial Center on the establishment of independent jurisdiction.
The AIFC will have an international court which will supplement the Kazakhstan courts in providing a specialist service for those people who want to become involved in investing in the AIFC from around the world. Because I can see tremendous potential for Astana and the AIFC to become a hub for dispute resolution in a way which is modern, efficient, fast, and above all, incorruptible, and which will be accepted as setting the highest standards of independence.
One of the most influential judges in the history of modern British jurisprudence has repeatedly visited Kazakhstan with working visits. In his last meeting, Lord Wolff told the undergraduates of Nazarbayev University and the representatives of the business and legal communities of the country about what kind of contribution the AIFC court will make to the development and formation of Astana's international reputation. The lecture was held on the site of Nazarbayev University and became one of the events in the series of visits of the British delegation to Kazakhstan. There are more than enough reasons this year, the 25th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations, as well as summing up the results of participation in Expo 2017. Minister of European and American Affairs Sir Alan Duncan discussed many other things at another event, an international meeting on Great Britain in the 21st century and Kazakh-British relations, was held in the library of the first president of the Republic of Kazakhstan. During his speech, Sir Alan Duncan noted that since 1991, the volume of direct investment of the Great Britain has amounted to more than $25 billion.
Well, I think that commercial, political and diplomatic relations are all in a very good condition between the UK and Kazakhstan. And I hope that on the back of the fantastic success of Expo, we will see our commercial contracts grow. And I'm very optimistic about future relations between Kazakhstan and the UK.
At the moment, the country is one of the 6 major investors in the economy of Kazakhstan. More than 500 companies with British participation are registered in the Republic. And the circle of interests of Great Britain is expanding each year.
If until, say, 5 years ago, UK trade and investment in Kazakhstan was mainly around oil and gas, I have to say today, of course, yes, oil and gas, but also mining, financial services, legal services, education, science and technical cooperation. There's a great deal going on under the heading of trade and investment. And indeed, we are now tasked in this embassy to attract Kazakhstan investment into the UK. This is now a bilateral, two-way trading and investment relationship.
The huge interest of the gathered public at the meeting with the minister caused the withdrawal of Great Britain from the EU and the further political course of the country.
We are not leaving Europe and we are not pulling back from the world. Instead, we will embrace the opportunities that lie before us and build a truly global Britain, one which strengthens our relationships and reaches out to build new partnerships across the world. Now, when the British people voted last year to leave the EU, they did not choose to withdraw the UK from the United Nations Security Council or from NATO. They did not pull the plug on our membership of the G7, the G20, or the Commonwealth. They did not sign away Britain's long-standing and hard-won commitment to the values of freedom, of democracy, and of the rule of law.
According to Sir Alan Duncan, Great Britain will continue to develop international cooperation, including with Kazakhstan. Moreover, great attention is paid in the Republic to the comfort of the investment climate, which contributes to attracting new investments.
I was particularly excited, for example, to see recently agreement by a company called IPSS out of Aberdeen in Scotland, and they have just agreed to set up a manufacturing facility in West Kazakhstan. It's about pipeline components, and this is the first time that this particular company has ever set up a filiale, a branch overseas. And they've chosen Kazakhstan because they've looked hard at a number of countries and they think the best opportunities are here, and they think that the business environment is also something that they can work with.
According to the British Embassy, more than 50 joint ventures in Western Kazakhstan have been opened in the country in the past 7 years, with the state support and a large British energy concern. Another direction in joint cooperation between the two countries, as noted at the meeting in the library of the First President, is the work of the Republic as a non-permanent member in the UN Security Council.
It will allow you to bring your unique geographical, historical and cultural perspective to the work of the Council. Now, security is just one of the challenges we face together. There are aspects of this we must consider, and we can address these challenges as international partners on the UN Security Council.
However, one of the most global projects where cooperation between the two countries is particularly active is the creation of financial infrastructure by international standards.
Right from the first public announcement by President Nazarbayev of the intention to create a truly internationally compliant international financial centre here in Astana, right from the very start, we looked hard at this project and we supported the intention, because I think it's part of Kazakhstan's journey after its independence to become more integrated into international structures. And that really is the way in which Kazakhstan will succeed in attracting more foreign investment.
Within the framework of cooperation between the AIFC and the UK, a memorandum of cooperation was signed between the AIFC and representatives of the City of London, DDCAP, where the parties agreed to share their experience and knowledge on the development of the commodity platform, joint research, seminars, the development of professional programs to increase financial literacy and beyond. By the way, training of highly qualified professional staff is one of the most important activities of the center.
For the last 6 months, 15 qualified Kazakhstani judges have been undergoing training in the UK on what difference there is between Kazakhstani law and English common law. And then that was followed up by their being able to work alongside legal firms in the City of London, so that they had an understanding not only of the theory but also of the practice in how to apply English common law principles when adjudicating between parties to a contractual dispute.
During the preparatory activities for the creation of the Kazakhstan International Financial Ecosystem, the Legal Advisory Council was established, which included representatives of leading law firms of the United Kingdom. The tasks of the Council include review and examination of the draft of the AIFC Acts, as well as other consultative work. Today, Astana International Financial Center is an ambitious Kazakhstani project that integrates the best world practices. We have very good links, specifically with the business. Even if we're talking about financial technologies, We have very good contacts with experts from the UK. This applies not only to the UK, this applies to Dubai, because Dubai is a good example. They did it from scratch. They built a new financial center. We also relied on their experience. And the main goal, according to the representatives of the administration of the AIFC, is the creation of new instruments in the country, so that savings in the country turn into investments.
Сроки были достаточно очень сжатые, немножко сложно было запустить полностью.
The timing was very brief to start the work now. Therefore, at the first stage, there will be such instruments as stocks and bonds, which in principle our market needs most today. In the future, we plan that we will have sufficient liquidity. We plan to create other sites, for example, the site of derivatives or commodity tools. For this, we're also meeting and working with stock exchange.
Работаем, встречаемся с биржами, скажем, сторон.
As part of the signed shareholder agreement, the Shanghai Stock Exchange became the strategic partner of the AIFC. According to the administration of the financial center, cooperation with the world leader of the exchange industry will help the regional hub of financial services to attract and expand the international investor base, as well as develop the capital market not only in Kazakhstan, but throughout the region. The second direction is asset management. The third direction is private banking. And of course, it should be noted that there are a lot of assets in Kazakhstan. There are plenty of reserves. If we're talking about the National Fund of the Republic of Kazakhstan, then it is about 6-7 billion US dollars. If we talk about pension funds and so on, there is a need for proper management of the correct investment of funds in order to have a fairly good yield in both tenge and dollars. This expertise needs to be developed inside Kazakhstan, and our center works to develop this expertise. Another direction of development of the international financial platform is Islamic finance. The annual turnover of Islamic finance now exceeds $2 trillion. That speaks for a threefold increase over the last 10 years. By 2020, this figure will reach $3 trillion. President Nursultan Nazarbayev told about it at the Global Islamic Finance Awards, which traditionally gathers heads of state and government of different countries, as well as representatives of international Islamic financial institutions. This is a global event for Islamic finance. It is held annually. This is the most prestigious award in the field of Islamic finance. It is held in Kazakhstan for the first time. More than 200 large financial institutions and banks of Islamic fund in attendance from 20 countries. Experts and researchers in this area. For the first time in Kazakhstan, and Astana appeared on the world map as a point of growth, as a platform for the development of Islamic finance. At the 7th Global Award for Islamic Finance, more than 50 awards were awarded for such nominations as Best Banker, Best Islamic Bank, Innovative Product in the Sphere of Islamic Finance, and others. And the main award from the hands of Nursultan Nazarbayev was received by the President of the Republic of Djibouti, Ismail Omar Guelleh, in the nomination Global Leader in Islamic Finance. The President of Kazakhstan received similar award in 2014 for the development of Islamic finance. In 2012, the debut quasi-public sukuk was issued by the Development Bank of Kazakhstan. We did not stop there. We went on, and in 2012, a roadmap was adopted for the development of Islamic financing up to 2020. In 2015, a number of changes were adopted on the functioning of Islamic insurance companies, as well as on the issue of sovereign sukuk and the conversion of traditional commercial banks to an Islamic bank. According to AIFC representatives, at present, financial organizations, as well as consulting organizations in the field of Islamic finance from a number of countries in the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, are already negotiating the opening of their offices on the site of the Kazakhstan Financial Center.
A number of governments in the non-Muslim countries, they have got involved in Islamic finance by way of issuing what is known as Islamic bonds or sukuk. A number of Western governments, they have been involved in Islamic finance in a leadership role. The United Kingdom, for example, is an excellent destination for Islamic financial services. There is a growing Islamic banking and finance market in UK, and the interest is growing in other European markets as well.
Another area in which the AIFC plans to develop its activities is financial technologies. We see automation at all levels. It affects our life on the economy and financial instruments. Financial technology is one of the very important tools. Now, if you look at the experience of other countries, it is easy to find financing through co-financing, the so-called crowdfunding for private businesses. Some, even Kazakhstan startups, enter international markets and raise money abroad. We believe that there is a great potential for this development in Kazakhstan. Not even the potential, but there is a demand for these tools. But unfortunately, there are not enough offers for various reasons. And we believe that it is necessary to develop these financial ecosystems. It requires a government support. Currently, there is already a regulatory framework for the so-called regulatory sandbox, which allows companies to try their tools in a real market environment. Also, there is the development of rules for crypto-economics. In the current period, the administration of the AIFC is preparing to move to the territory of the Expo town. Now it is early to say anything, because this infrastructure needs to be adapted and developed. It is still the area of ex-pavilions. They need to be turned into office buildings. Commercial premises are slightly different. It is necessary to add a separate floor. It is necessary to do some work to prepare these buildings so that they can be rented out by the A-class companies. By the way, during the Expo 2017, AIFC did a great job in promoting their ambitious project. Special meetings, seminars and forums were organized for representatives of international financial organizations, including the UK, on the side of the British Pavilion, the content of which is also an example of the commonality of use and interaction between the two cultures. The main installation of the British designer Asif Khan was made in the form of a sensory yurt, and following the results of the international exhibition, the entire exposition was awarded silver in the nomination Design of the Exhibition. And the architectural appearance of the capital itself owes a lot to the world-famous British architect Norman Foster. His signature works, Bayterek, Kanchitir, the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation.
Education is another area where there has been a huge growth of links. I suppose it started with a number of young Kazakhstanis going to the UK for education, and indeed the Bolshak program students, still a majority of them choose to study in the UK rather than in any other country in the world. But today, educational links are now becoming partnerships growing up between UK universities and Kazakhstani universities, yes, in Almaty and in Astana, but now more widely than Almaty and Astana, exploring the possibility of joint degrees, exploring structured partnerships, and in one case I know there are talks underway about the possibility of opening up a UK university campus here in Kazakhstan.
The embassy also promotes the development of journalism and organizes trainings for beginning and practicing journalists, and also provides structured assistance to the population of the country in critical thinking and forming their own point of view. And Kazakhstan is not the only country where the embassy conducts similar work.
The reasons mentioned here, in which
it should be noted that the active interaction between the two countries is in great demand for frequent flights from Kazakhstan to the United Kingdom. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic, together with the British Embassy, create comfortable conditions for the population of both countries.
There are now 5 direct non-stop flights a week between London and Astana. This is flown by Air Astana, a company that is not only a proud Kazakhstani company, it is also 49% British owned. And I'm confident that early next year you will see even more direct non-stop flights happening between the UK and Kazakhstan. So it's never been easier if you live in Kazakhstan to visit the UK, whether you want to trade, whether you want to study, whether you want to be a tourist. or whether you just want to get to know another country better.
In the near future, as the embassy explained, they plan to hold an annual strategic dialogue between the foreign ministries of the two countries. The meeting will take place in London.